Just because there's no maximum survivable weight, that doesn't mean that it's not healthy. Right? Am I being crazy?
Like, I can't believe somebody would post that on the internet and expect to still have friends after that.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as Sunny Side Up Gal, and you are my Sunny Side Up Pal. Good morrow, good morning, and good Friday. If you are new here, please consider giving me a subscribe because we got some important things to talk about today. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video. Pay attention because we're going to keep playing the emoji game throughout the video. If you don't know what the emoji game is, I will be putting in random emoji requests throughout the video, along with my little friend Billy,
I want to play a game,
who will be introducing every emoji. But we're not here about emojis. We're not here about games. We're here to chat. We're here to talk. We're here to possibly learn. If you can't already tell, I am in my pajamas and I did just roll out of bed not long ago. Got my baby girl Polly right here. Polly, say hello to the camera. But yes, I'm in my pajamas. I just rolled out of bed. I just felt inspired. So if you haven't already, probably couldn't tell by the thumbnail, our bestie, Angelica Unfiltered's channel was denied her appeal.
Was denied a bank loan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Was denied her appeal to get her channel remonetized. So, in response to that, she needs all the support that we can give her. If you have any ideas, put them in the comments as to how we can help Angelica. And if you don't have any ideas, here are some of my ideas. Check out my posts on YouTube. I did put a screenshot of an X post that I made to YouTube. You can use that as like a script. If anything, you can always just use like Google Glass if you have that. I don't know if Apple phones have Apple phones. I don't know if iPhones have that option where you can like take a screenshot and then like copy the text on there. Maybe we can all band together and, just like be kind. Don't be a weirdo and don't be like super, I wouldn't recommend like swearing or anything like that to YouTube. But just kind of like, hey, maybe somebody who works at on the X account for YouTube will see we really care about this channel. My main thing is, and I'll post a clip, but her channel was clearly reviewed by AI.
When you click on that timestamp, it's literally me talking about my dog.
Because it's still November 2021, unfortunately. Sochi's whining, so I grabbed her. Say hi to the people. I'm here. Hi, people. Hi, people. My 600-pound wife.
If a human being were to review her channel, they probably would not have demonetized her. If a human being did demonize her, my guess is that the human being was fat.
You are fat. We already know that.
Regardless, this is unjust. This is a violation of this feels like a violation of First Amendment rights, even though YouTube is a private company. They can do what the hell they want or whatever. But we're still humans and we're still Americans and we still have the right to use our voices to spread good, positive information and to critique
Unhealthy narratives out there.
I'll link below Angelica's full video so you can kind of look and see. She explains what was flagged for demonetization, and it wasn't even. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre as to why they would even pick those points of the video to flag her channel when they, one, weren't her speaking, or two, she was reading the words of somebody else, or three, she was picking up her dog. So it's clearly just not a person. Does anybody work at YouTube anymore? Is there any humans that work at YouTube anymore? A couple of things that you could also do would be to support Angelica's jewelry business, Rebirth Jewelry. I have a few pieces. I can't believe I'm not wearing one of her pieces to show support for her channel right now, but I did just roll out of bed. I'll post some pictures of some pieces that I own. She's very, very talented. And again, she just deserves all of our support. If you can give her any kind of support, either on X or sharing her channel, or if you know anybody and you can share her channel to maybe a larger creator and they actually respond to you. Or even I'm wondering, because I have read on, I've been, since all of this shit went down, the crew has banded together and figuring out who, what, when, and where, what we can do, all that jazz. Doing a lot of I want to say research on Reddit, but just what people have done on Reddit. And somebody even got, this was in Ireland, but somebody even got a lawyer involved and they won their case, but then they got demonetized again. I don't know. It's really, really unfair. And You know, she's not just somebody on here who just reads. There's a lot of work that goes into her channel that includes editing. And it's not like she just sits in front of a camera, you know, downloads her video and just uploads it to YouTube. There's a lot of like, you know, there's a lot of work that actually goes into it. Editing takes a while. If you can figure out ways to support her, go to her channel, watch her videos. Don't, you know, continue to support her by staying a subscriber, staying a member. Well, actually, she doesn't have members right now. Share her story. And yes, I am going to be posting probably every hour or so on X until somebody takes a look at her channel. Just the more that we can get YouTube's eyes on her name, at least, the better. We want some actual human eyes to review this because it is not fair. And I know life isn't fair, but this is just, it really is, it makes you want to pull your hair out with how weird it is, because it's so unfair, and it wasn't even like humans being like that to other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know that humans can be unfair to people, but the fact that this is a tool, a robot, AI, that is hired by human to do our will, our bidding, and it's being unfair. Like, it's just like, it's not even being, it's just stupid. It's just being a dumbass, basically. So, yeah. But anyway, we are going to be doing a little teeny tiny bit just so that you guys are fed. You know, we're down a person. We are down a person, and we need to make sure that you guys have your sustenance. So mommy is here to feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my clothes and come back a little later because it is kind of late this morning. I was setting up, also doing a little bit of research. I also had to clean out my computer because I had like short disk space, but I've been deleting listen to this. I've been deleting every single video that I create because they're huge files. So I delete them because I put them on YouTube. I should be saving them into like somewhere else, like maybe also putting them on another, like maybe onto Rumble, just so I always have it, because I feel like YouTube, I don't trust it as like a safe storage space anymore. But, and I want to say do it, like save them onto Google, but Google, it used to be free. Google Drive used to be free. Now they're doing these like paid programs because there's just so much space. But I also like every time I take a photo, it just uploads onto YouTube Drive. I'm having a hard time prioritizing space. But anyway, I tried to clean out my computer, and all of the space on there was taken up by like the apps that are already onto the laptop. Like all of my media was like barely anything, and all of the apps took up like more than half of my computer space. And I feel like that's weird because some of them you can't even delete. And it's like, why would you tell me I have this X amount of storage space when you've taken up more than the storage space? It's annoying. They shouldn't sell the laptop as blank gigs of storage space. They should say like blank gigs of available storage space, because we've filled your storage space more than 0.5%. Regardless, I'll be right back. Good morrow, everybody, and I'm back. And today we're going to be doing a Fatlogic Friday. Thank you so much for listening to that very pretty long intro. It was absolutely necessary. If you love Angelica Unfiltered, it was necessary. Okay, so today we will be doing a Fatlogic Friday where I'm just going to be reacting to random Fatlogic posts that are ticking me off. So if you are unfamiliar with Fatlogic, I will put the intro here and read it off. Fatlogic is anything that deviates from the scientific facts of body weight management. This can range from fundamental misunderstandings of how biology and physics work to lengthy political diatribes about how everything is society's fault. Falling victim to Fatlogic means accepting misinformation that will harm efforts to keep your body at a healthy weight or lose weight if you need to do so. So do. So this is one of my favorite things to do. React to Fatlogic, because there are so many people on Fatlogic. It's just ridiculous. It's It's hilarious. It makes for really good educational opportunities and also entertainment opportunities. So again, these are people the people posting in the subreddit are people who find these ridiculousness posts in the wild. So like usually on Tumblr, which I can't believe that Tumblr is still a thing. I think it is hilarious that because of where society is at right now, Tumblr is no longer a place for like really, really reductive behaviors. If you can catch my drift. Beating recorders. Well, yes, beating recorders, just not as much pandashrexia and more fringe beating. A lot of eating, a lot of indulgence and a lot of
Fats.
Currently, the time is 3:46 in the a.m. I have been awake since 1 o'clock, but I am in a pretty deep state of ketosis. If you're not familiar with ketosis, I'm going to put it right here. This is how mommy likes to live her life. And sometimes when I'm getting into things, it gives me a little bit of insomnia, yet I'm not like dying, right? I feel pretty good. Also, I'm drinking a Coca-Cola. Nope. I'm drinking a Coke this morning, but it's not a Coke. It's an Aldi version. Summit's Cola by Aldi, not sponsored, but it's okay. It tastes like, I was telling my pal Peter, hi Peter, you baby boy, that it tastes like drinking Coke Zero if Coke Zero was like 8 feet away from me. So it's Coke Zero, but it's a little bit more diety, I guess. It's not as sweet. It's like more salty. I don't know, but it's all right. And it has caffeine in it. Almost tastes exactly like Coke Zero, but just not. So let us
Begin.
Okay, so here is the homepage for Reddit. I usually do the setting as new. I like to do new because it's fresh. You know, it's not, nobody's been seeing it, right? This is from 9 hours ago. I doubt anybody has covered this in the last 9 hours. So what I'll do is I will just read, discuss, chat, giggle, laugh with you, and I hope you enjoy. All right, OP never said that eating in a balanced way was easy, but it's recorded beating if you make a concerted effort to lose weight. Concerted effort to lose weight. Dieting is so normalized that the people don't realize beating for reductive purposes is recorded opposed to normal beating, which is just eating until you're full. Dieting is so normalized that people don't realize eating for weight loss is recorded opposed to normal eating, which is just eating until you're full. Let's read this. So how do you expect an obese person to get to a healthy weight? They should just eat until they're full. Come on now. There are definitely healthy ways to lose weight. No need to carve. A small schmallery deficit is recommended. You can lose weight without recorded beating, you know. I never said eating it in a balanced way for a comfortable weight management for your body was easy. This is why people work with dietitians. That's privilege. A calorie deficit is not recommended long term. Most of the time, they don't even work. That's so stupid. You're deliberately misunderstanding the definition of recorded. Okay, let's break it down. Okay, so OP said dieting is so normalized that people don't realize eating for weight loss is disordered opposed to normal eating, which is just eating until you're full. So listen to this. A lot of people who are within the grips of let's say a fringe beating recorder, they don't really have that like full, signal. They kind of just keep going, or they do get the full signal and then they don't stop. Eating until satiety is something that I feel like maybe not even like 60 years ago, but I feel like now, currently in 2026, is something that needs to be trained. And I don't mean like trained like brainwash or like trained like you need to go to a school for this. It's just something that should have happened when you were younger. So like families should be eating together and we're not. Families should be eating at a dinner table and most of the time we're no longer doing that. I don't. Do you eat at the dinner table, guys? Because my husband and I just kind of like eat whenever. It would be nice. I would love that. We bought a dinner table so that we can eat more at the dinner table. But life is just so fast now, you guys. Do you guys agree? I just feel like life is just, let's get home, let's eat, let's go to bed, let's go to work, let's get home, let's eat, let's go to bed, let's go to work. And it's just like, do I have time? Do I have time to plate a serving dish when I can just serve myself from the sink or from the oven? Regardless.
Irregardless.
Families used to eat together and like when you were done, and there was community behind it, community as in like talking, socializing with your own family. And I feel like that kind of helped people see and get an idea of like when to stop eating, like when to be finished. I don't feel like we have that anymore. I feel like people just kind of eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until they're almost like uncomfortably stuffed, which I don't really think that that's healthy. I personally am a person who was in the grips of a beating recorder, multiple actually, not at the same time, but like multiple, have gone through the trenches. But fringe beating was like my thing. And now since that, I am like a bulk eater. Like I love to feel full. And I don't and so when I'm desiring that, I do eat a lot of, you know, appropriate foods for my metabolism. One of the great things about me eating a meat-based or a ketogenic diet is that fat and protein is super filling. So I get that satiety really, really quickly, and I don't need to eat a ton for it. So you just kind of have to like work with what your body is calling, basically. And you have to learn that, because sometimes like that type of intuition, like that intuitive eating, you know, portion of weight loss is not something that comes stock with a human being. You kind of have to like train for that, and you have to experiment. I had to experiment to figure that out. It took me years to figure out what, you know, way of eating works best for me. And I used to be 232 pounds, and now I'm like 175 to like 178. So the 232 pounds, I used to be 220 pounds post pandemic, and now I'm 175, 178. Yet another everyone get fatter now post, because apparently you can't ever eat bread if you're skinny. Trying to sell skinniness as a goal is so funny to me. Like, yeah, sure, let me never eat bread again so I can be too cold basically all the time and have no energy. Like, be fucking for real. Hashtag everyone get fatter now. You will be warmer and you can eat bread. So I don't think that bread is necessarily a bad thing. Bread's like an ancestral thing. My problem with bread now is that bread that you get from like the supermarket has been like Frankenstein. Like, it's been so modified, and unless you get like really, really good like organic bread or something like that, like, or like just directly from a bakery who's not gonna like fortify it with other like minerals or whatever, or preservatives. That's my problem with bread. My other problem with bread is that some people can't control themselves around bread. I personally can't. I smell bread and I'm like, let's get some oil, let's make some fucking sandwiches, let's dip and eat like Aladdin, basically. And so I just don't have bread anymore because I can't control myself. I love bread so much that when I see it and I get one bite, it's just like, I'm gonna eat this entire loaf. That's me. That's just me though. My problem with bread with most people is that Americans eat more carbs than we should. Like, we've been told to have like, I think 300 grams of carbohydrates a day, and like, or like, that's like 8 slices of bread. And it's like, no, that doesn't mean that you have to eat 8 slices of bread. That means like portion out, you know, healthy carbs, right? I think bread is an unhealthy carb. I think bread is not, personally, I think that carbs are not like a necessary thing, I guess, for survival. I think they're good for people who like lift, workout, are high energy. But for me, for somebody who is metabolically like not doing it and who's also sedentary, I don't think carbohydrates are it. But I think bread is so overdone in the United States. And it would be different if it was just like if there was no bread on the shelves and everybody was just making bread at home, like actual real sourdough bread. I think that's like a different thing. I feel like you wouldn't eat it as much if you had to put work into making it. Yeah, I don't have a war on bread because I personally love bread. I also don't think that people who are skinny aren't eating bread. I've seen a lot of people who are skinny eat a ton of bread, and that's because they're high energy, and that's because they work out or they run or they lift. You know what I mean? I have no problems with bread. As for being thin and being cold all the time, that's a generalization. Like, I don't believe that thins are cold all the time. I am overweight. I'm actually obese still, and because of my Hashimoto's, I'm cold quite often, right? I can't even be in Walmart sometimes. Like, I can't even stand air conditioning sometimes. But I mean, I also live in Florida, so I'm like a lizard now. But I don't like to be at grocery stores next to like the frozen sections because I will die.
That's just me.
But yeah, the whole get fatter, be warm, that's not even like, the humans don't have to warm ourselves up like that. You know, we're not in the Arctic, right? You know, I don't know. That one was dumb. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Newsflash. Fitness isn't real. And if you say that you want to get fit, you're just a disgusting eugenicist, racist, fatphobe. Jinkies. Physical fitness doesn't exist. It's just a co-opting of evolutionary biology towards fatphobic, ableist, eugenicist ends. And it's stupid as a term, M-dash, because what exactly do you mean? Just like, be specific. I want to be smaller. I want to be bigger. I want to be better at X activity. I want to be attracted to specific person or group of people. I want to feel better. People are fit for different things. Okay, I actually agree. I actually agree. Okay, if I lift heavy shit all day but never need to run, I'll look different from someone who runs daily but never does resistance training. Weightlifters look different from ballet dancers who look different from soccer players who look different from football linemen. A huge percentage of great athletes are disabled or will become disabled. A huge percentage of healthy/physically fit people with no disabilities will never be great athletes. Someone who works a physical job will by necessity become fit for that specific job, but it doesn't mean that they will look fit, i.e. skinny. Let's be real. You know what? I agree. I've seen some fat firemen and they are still getting it. In nature, it just means, did you successfully reproduce? Yes or no, which is not applicable to human culture and society. What? But aren't we animals? And if you want to apply it, that's a broader problem with your worldview. People are adaptive, and your individual body will probably adapt to the stresses placed it on habitually. It is morally neutral and means nothing. Your body is probably fit for something, and even if it straight up isn't, it's still trying to protect you and keep you alive in any way it can. Also, if you talk about getting fit, I do just assume you mean getting skinny. It is really just the fat phobia and ableism and racism and misogyny and fear of difference and self-loathing of it all.
Damn, this person needs to go to fucking therapy, dude.
Okay, it's almost like this person does not like to see people just better themselves. So clearly it's a projection that they can't do it, so they'll just call you racist, call you ableist, call you a eugenicist. That's what I'm getting a lot from with the fat acceptance community. They can't do it, or they feel shame, so they want to come up with other ways to like make others feel shame for making them feel shame, when in reality it's just like, do you care or do you not care? You care, obviously. Do something about it, right? The whole people are adaptive and your individual body will probably adapt to the stresses paid on it habitually. That is correct. I do believe that. I remember when my husband is a truck driver, and I remember when he worked at a big drink company and he had to like get out of his truck more often and like actually do heavy lifting. He was pretty fit. And now I'm not saying that he's not fit, but he's not as fit as he was. Because I don't know if you know this, but truck drivers just sit in their car all day, and then their ability to eat healthy foods has been declining because gas stations don't offer healthy foods. Also, if you talk about getting fit, I do assume you just mean getting skinny. I would also assume that as well. I'm trying to get fit. Yeah. Okay. You are fat. You need to get skinny. Okay. Yeah. I get it. It is really just the fat phobia and ableism and racism and misogyny and fear of difference and self-loathing of it all. Okay. The fat phobia, I agree. I am afraid of being fat. And I think that that's a healthy fear because fat kills. Ableism. I don't think that is correct. I don't know if that's the right wording I'm using. They want to call you ableist because you want to, let's, for example, bring up the lady who said that she wanted to wipe her butt.
Hi, Rosie. Thanks for being a fan of the channel.
Right? They want to call you ableist because you wanted to wipe your butt properly. I don't think that wanting to get fit so that you can wipe your ass is necessarily ableist. I don't think that it's a good thing to not be able to wipe your butt. I don't know. If that makes me ableist, then yes, I am ableist. I want to be able to wipe my ass. I don't get it. But they think that because you think that being disabled is bad, that you should just allow yourself to be disabled. And I don't think that that's right at all. Racism, we all agree, we all agree that that's not right. Assuming that one particular race is fatter than another is weird because all bodies are different regardless of your race. You know what I mean? Bodies come in different sizes regardless of your race. And misogyny and fear of misogyny. It's gray. It's gray. It's giving me gray because, men also deal with body image issues. It's just not in the same, it's not in the same way that it's not as prevalent, I guess, or maybe it's just more quiet. Maybe men just aren't open about sharing. Maybe men aren't sharing their stories like how women are because we like to talk. Fear of difference. You say it's a fear of difference. You want to be different, person who wrote this, OP, but I'm pretty sure you and your group of friends, if you have any, all look the same. Because let's be honest, you guys. If you took a group of fat activists in one room, what would they look like? Let's be honest. Let's be honest with each other. If you took a group of fat activists, aside from the plus size park hoppers, took a group of fat activists, they're all going to be wearing a crop top of some sort. They're going to be wearing clothing that's way too small for them. They're probably going to have really fun looking cool hair. Piercings, for sure. Loads of tattoos, I'm sure. And so what do you mean that you're different? You look exactly like all of your other friends and probably most of the fat acceptance community. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting out of it, okay? Okay, and self-loathing of it all. Honestly, let's break that down. Self-loathing. if becoming physically fit makes me feel less self-loathing, which I'm assuming is some sort of depression, that's a good thing. So this person is clearly projecting. They're upset that they cannot do quote unquote weight loss. They cannot do physical fitness. So they're like, it doesn't exist. That's stupid. What even are fat slurs? And why shouldn't we use the O word? God, we love this. We love this. We love this. Okay, if you come onto this blog and use the O slur,
The O slur is obesity.
you'll get blocked immediately. Nothing you say matters if it's covered in anti-fat slurs. If you can't talk about fat people without hurling slurs within 2 seconds, shut up about us. Hashtag fat. Hashtag fat acceptance. Hashtag fat liberation. Hashtag fat messiah. Fat messiah? What? This is fat messiah. I'll need to do a fat messiah research. Let's take a look here. Fat messiah, derived from the Greek miso, hatred, and fat, refers to the prejudice, discrimination, and hatred directed against fat people, often used as a more precise alternative to fat phobia. It describes systemic anti-fat attitudes, weight stigma, and marginalized rather than clinical phobia. Oh my God, you guys.
We just vocabularied.
Okay, I'm so glad that we learned this together. Fat messiah. Fat messiah. Yes, me have that. No, I don't really have hatred of fat people. I have hatred of people spreading misinformation, and I have hatred of like fat acceptance. You know, it's not necessarily that I hate fat people. I've got fat friends. But I'm also fat, and I don't have a problem if you wish to stay in a fat body, or you're just existing, or if you're fat due to something, right? If something is making you fat other than just you being a dickhead, I guess, I have no problem. I have no issues with you just existing. My problem is when people come onto the internet and try to spread misinformation. Like for example, my last episode, you don't have to lose weight if you have sleep apnea. You do have to lose weight if you have sleep apnea, if the sleep apnea is caused by your weight, if it's your own body that's crushing you and making you stop breathing at night. That's what I dislike. But if it's just like somebody just being fat, like Lizzo's going to stay fat forever. I don't think Lizzo's ever going to be skinny. But me like Lizzo. Me like her songs. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. Okay, so fat messiah. Okay, no fucking way you claiming oppression over the way people silently glance in your general direction. Oh, we love an assumer. We love an assumer. We love when people are like, oh my God, they're looking at me. They want this. Or, oh my God, they're looking at me. They're judging me. Like, no, bitch, don't assume something that they didn't say. Okay. Considering looks brought by the next bowl of cereal, the next helping of dinner, or the indulgent enjoyment of the Easter chocolate that cannot conceivably have been purchased just to be thrown away. You are not subtle, even when you think they are. Your cutting glances effectively communicates to your personal shame, but it isn't just about you. Your children feel the shame you project more deeply than you do. It's a shame it's a shame that you're likely familiar with because you were made to feel it too. So I feel like a lot of the times parents, I'm not a parent. If I were a parent, I don't think I would ever feel shame on my child for their hunger. I would feel shame for myself if my kid was morbidly obese at like 6, and I wasn't doing anything to actively stop that, like to not allow the second helping. Your kid's not going to starve. I know it sounds fucked up, but you stopping a second or a third helping isn't going to, it might hurt your kid's feelings for that moment, but I'm not a parent. I just would want to say, like, you could always do something fun after, right? Like go on a walk or something like that. I don't know, but I'm not a parent. I don't know how that would feel. I don't know if I could, if my heart of hearts could tell a kid to stop eating. That's enough. That's enough spaghetti, Amber.
Remember you getting the pot of spaghetti out of the refrigerator and using the really huge utensil, taking big scoops out of the pot onto your plate, where your fucking dad said, I think that's enough, Amber. That's my first memory of you. And you still continue to pile on your plate. Yeah, that story goes around our family year after year after year.
Any child raised to feel food food and body shame knows immediately what your raised eyebrow or enlarged eyes or flared nostrils mean. In confrontational families, these nonverbal cues lead to emotionally charged conversations and vicious arguments. In avoidant families, these feelings get swallowed down and still leave everybody feeling terrible. These interactions have the potential to ruin holidays, ruin friendships, ruin relationships, and ruin lives. These interactions can cause slips or relapses for those in beating recorder recovery. These interactions, therefore, have the potential to end lives. Wow. Let me just say this. I hate when the threat of you no longer being on this planet is held above someone's head like that.
If you look at me in this direction, I might not be here tomorrow.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. It's really disgusting. Yeah, I hate that. While you might see yourself in this essay, bitch, this is a fucking story. Oh, she's got an essay right here. Okay, my bad. While you might see yourself in this essay, if you've been the recipient of such glances, you aren't the intended audience. This one is for your loved ones who make you feel ashamed of your body. Let's afford them the chance to change and see the necessity in doing so. So you expecting people who see the story who are probably fat as fuck, you want them to send this to their family and not expect looks at the next holiday? You're fucking dumb. Yeah. So let's You know what I'm getting in my head? And this is just my imagination. I'm seeing the person who wrote this as like the evil witch from Hansel and Gretel, and she's like shaming parents into making children fatter because that's what she's doing, right? She's like, don't shame your kid for getting fat, make them fat. She's the witch from Hansel and Gretel. Okay, there is an okay. Okay, there is an actual proven way to be over a healthy weight, but the fat acceptance community refuses to believe it. Starting this off with health does not dictate someone's worth, and this is not meant to be derogatory to anyone. Being underweight is definitively proven to cause more health risks than being overweight is even theorized to cause. I put quotes around the one and not the other because there is a way to be under a healthy weight, but there's no actual proven way to be over a healthy weight. There is a minimum survivable weight. There is no maximum survivable weight. All right, you guys, am I correct? Let's do the logical fallacy. This is which logical fallacy is this? Logical fallacies, I'm trying my best. I believe, and I brought this up in my last one, this one is also appeal to ignorance because they're like, there's no proof, right? So they're like, if there's no proof, that means it's not true. Also, it's ignoring that both have problems, but being underweight has problems, being overweight has problems. It's clearly ignoring that the actual studies that over being obese is an issue, because we all know it is an issue, right? And it's saying being overweight is theorized to cause, and then it's saying, and then this person, I keep saying it like they're a dog, okay, and then this person is saying there's no proven way to be over a healthy weight. There's standards, right? There's standards, and then if you're over that standard, you are overweight. If you cannot get out of bed because you have too much excess adipose tissue on your body, that's overweight. That's obese. That's a thing, okay? There is no maximum survivable weight. Maybe there is no maximum survivable weight because it's so like unachievable because you will die before then, right? I am interested. I also just don't think that there is I think that that's a dumb...
I think that this person's fucking dumb.
I think that that's a dumb comparison, because clearly there is a minimum survivable weight, because you can't go into the negatives of a weight of being a weight, right? But I mean, we've seen people be 800 pounds. Like, there's no, what's the limit? There is no limit, because we've seen people we've seen people, there's a fucking Guinness World Record of who's the fattest person on the planet, right? It's not even like, that's not science, right? That's just not science. It's just not science. Just because there's no maximum survivable weight, that doesn't mean that it's not healthy, right? Am I being crazy?
Like, I can't believe somebody would post that on the internet and expect to still have friends after that.
Okay. All right. This says in my fiction book 2. Now let's read. Can y'all see that still? When we were young, all the boys liked you best, she began. Your big blue eyes, your hair, your skin, your boobs. All I had was my thinness. I don't remember it that way. Well, she remembered the boobs, which had arrived suddenly, making her even more self conscious about her body. Being thin was one of my real accomplishments. I wasn't particularly clever, and I had no ambition. Dude, this person just fucking hates skinny people. That's so funny. Beyond marrying an Iceman and being thin and staying thin seemed key to that. Dude, do they really think that thin people think like this? That is so fucking stupid. Although I have, although I, although I found out men leave skinny women too. Eleanor's second husband had left her for a larger but much younger woman. It had been akin to a crisis of faith for her at the time. Besides, being thin is healthier. Not necessarily. And in fact, premature mortality is more common among underweight people than overweight people. Okay, I have discussed this already, but the reason why people in underweight bodies don't last as long as overweight people, especially like when they're in the stages of dying, is because of like an energy level, like an energy storage. So fat people clearly have more energy storage on them. Their declining will take longer just because they have more, more on them to kill off, I guess. And then thin people, if you're already in a thin body and then you have like a declining illness or something like that, you probably won't last as long. And I wouldn't say the crazy thing is like I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing, because I think it would be safe to say that like being in an obese just prolongs death, and death is like not, this the process of dying is like harrowing. It's like it's not, I mean, clearly it's not a good thing. Nobody wants to die. But the process of death and just like the stages of dying is, it looks uncomfortable. Like, so if you want to say that being in a fat body makes you live longer, it's like, no, you are just prolonging you're prolonging your death, basically.
You are slowing down the dying process.
Not necessarily. In fact, premature mortality is more common among underweight people than overweight people. Another fact gleaned from a podcast. And if you're one who takes blood pressure medication, and you're the one who takes blood pressure medication, not me. You've got type 2 diabetes, not me.
You have type 2 diabetes, not me.
Eleanor smiled ruefully. My doctor is worried about my bone density now, but I've noticed your pill box isn't that small, old friend. That was because of the hidden compartment, but not even Eleanor knew about that. Mrs. Blossom said, I'll take a statin and progesterone because I have an estrogen ring and an estrogen patch. The other pills are supplements, calcium, vitamin D, the big horse pills, which I take 4 of every day. They're for my hair. There's hard science behind them too, evidence that they'll really improve thinning hair. Your hair isn't thinning. Why is your hair thinning, bitch? Because you're fat. Okay. It's projection. I need to know who wrote this book. Let's do a search. Okay, so a comment says that this is by a woman named Laura Lipman. Now let's take a look. American writer. Mrs. Blossom. Okay, so just from doing some, is this right? I'm not 100% sure, but the person, so using my investigatory skills. So one of the characters' name was Eleanor, the other one was Mrs. Blossom. I looked up Laura Lipman, Mrs. Blossom, Eleanor, and I got this from the AI overview. Sorry, not sorry. Murder Takes a Vacation 2025 is a cozy mystery by Laura Lipman featuring Muriel Blossom, a 68-year-old widow and a lottery winner who brings her friend Eleanor on a luxury Seine cruise. You can take a cruise on the Seine? What? That's crazy. Oh, it's like a little fucking ferry boat, though. I'm thinking like a big ass Disney cruise. I was like, it's a river, right? Okay, whatever. That turns out deadly. Okay, so clearly this is a knockoff of Death on the Nile. Do you guys know that story? Let's read this. Belgian sleuth Hercule Poirot Egyptian vacation abroad. A glamorous river streamer turns into a terrifying search for a murderer. And then Laura Lippman takes her on a Seine cruise, another river cruise, and it's murderous. Robin solved the case. Are you allowed to do that, Muriel? Or are you allowed to do that, Laura? This is clearly Death on the Nile. She should have named it Sin on the Seine. Okay, that kind of pisses me off. Like, it feels very, very derivative. The whole reason why I even wanted to look up the author was I wanted to see if she was fat. She's not, but she does look like one of those people that are like, being fat is fine. There's no such thing as fat. Obesity is a slur. She looks like one of those. If she can rip off Death on the Nile. Also, the fact that this is the fact that it's about a 60-something-year-old, the fact that it's based off of like a 68-year-old woman who is a former private investigator is giving Murder, She Wrote. So you know what, Laura Lippman? Not a fan. Not a fan. You are, can we be original? It's giving Murder, She Wrote. It's giving Stole, Death on the Nile. And it's giving Fat Acceptance. Yuck! All right, one more maybe. Or the GLB-1 is the E followed by the letter D treatment if your problem is overeating. Every time I see people bring up food noise in relation to taking GLP-1s, I'm reminded that we are taught that thinking about food is bad, and many of you are using a drug when you should be seeing a therapist about your beating recorder. So there is a difference between thinking about food, like when you're hungry. Oh my God, I could kill for a pizza right now. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Oh my gosh, can't wait to go home and make my noodles, And then there is the food noise, which is like, I have an open bag of Oreos in my cabinet right now, and I'm going to go and eat all of them. Or like, I've got to put all these leftovers away, but I'll just eat them so I don't have to waste another dish or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, food noise is so different than just like thinking about food when you're hungry. Food noise is like, the food is almost like calling to you in an unhealthy way. Like, clearly there's hunger signals where you're thinking about food because you're actually hungry, and then there's food noise where it's like, I know the food is there, I'm gonna go get that food. Basically, that's how I interpret food noise. I feel like it's something that's like, it really is, it feels like the food is begging you to come and eat it. Basically, that's why I can't really keep anything like indulgent around, and most of the stuff, if I want something, I have to like make it from scratch, because if it's pre-made, I will overdo it. That's just how I is. So how my brain is wired. Okay, preoccupation with thoughts about food, calories, rules around eating, etc. are hallmarks of beating recorders. So many people are going to stop taking GLP-1s one day and it will return. Yeah, no shit. That's why I think when you take a GLP-1, they should offer therapy, because I feel like it's a good tool to teach you how to like train your body in case you have to stop taking the GLP-1. Their thing is you have to take it forever, but I just don't think that's like a reliable thing. I just don't think that people can, shit happens, insurance lapses. But there should be a way to train yourself. You should be using the opportunity while you're on a GLP-1 and you don't have those like hunger, like the food noise, to train your body to like eat a normal way. Those same people are going to blame themselves instead of getting the treatment they deserve to have a better self-image and relationship with food. Discourse around GLP-1s really want us to pathologize a normal relationship with food. It's a beating recorder. If you are thinking about food so much, okay. So they say it's a beating recorder if you are thinking about food so much that it's taking over your life and making it hard to function. GLP-1s are Band-Aid when you think you should be. Oh, okay, she's correct. Okay, so thinking about food so much that it's taking over your life and making it hard to function is a beating recorder, is what she's getting at. GLP-1s are a Band-Aid when you should be getting treatment from a beating recorder specialist. The thing is that Band-Aid also provides positive feedback from weight loss, which further entrenches people into recorded beating and negative thoughts. So one person that is a great example of actually proving this person correctly is that chick Amy in Half. She is a firecracker, but she used to be gigantic and now she's not. But her main the main critique on her is that of her body, which, I mean, should we be judging people's bodies? I will. She looks a little bit like a frog just because there is no muscle anymore. Like, she needs to start strength training or she's gonna break a leg. But she used to be super big and now she's super tiny, and the feedback she's getting a lot of, you look so good, you look so happy, and then she's getting all these views on Instagram, and like views, hits, whatever, have their own like dopamine, hit for humans for some reason. It's so strange. So now I personally believe she's on her own. She's definitely what graphically Alex would call a zombie. The obsession with being thin, constantly worrying about weight, trying everything under the sun to lose weight, feeling shame about being unable to sustain long-term weight loss, gaining it back, and blaming yourself, also a beating recorder. Okay, let's think about this. So the obsession with being thin, I would agree that that's recorded. Okay. Constantly worrying about weight, trying everything under the sun to lose weight, feeling shame about being unable to sustain long-term weight loss, gaining it back, and blaming yourself, also a beating recorder. I wouldn't call that a beating recorder. I would just say that that's just like unhealthy thinking. That's like recorded thinking, right? Disordered thinking. And that sucks. I mean, it's true. I mean, I've been there. The obsession with being thin, constantly worrying about weight. I feel like I still kind of have this like not fear behind gaining weight. Like, I'm currently more comfortable with like a weight fluctuation, whereas before, any kind of weight fluctuation would kind of like, I would feel like a loser. But now I'm like, oh, I just have to take a shit, right? So, it just takes a lot of training. It does, and it takes, I mean, therapy is necessary for some people. So if you are preoccupied with thinness, food, and exercise, you probably have a beating recorder. You deserve to have a healthy relationship with food, your body, and exercise. You deserve help and therapy. There is no shame in it. Agree. Since hormones that influence hunger cues was brought up, these same hormones are also part of beating recorder development. The role of hormones in beating recorders. It's a link for this thing, which I can't even say. I don't even want to try, and I'm tired of censoring myself right now. Okay, if we don't live in a society that was obsessed with thinness and pathologized normal thoughts about food, we wouldn't even be talking about food noise. I feel like partially right, but I also feel like we should be not obsessed with thinness. We should be more focused on being healthy as a society and being at a healthy weight, because 75% of people in the United States are obese or overweight. That's not a good thing. And a lot of people have, come together, and when we all go, oh, I have that too, that thing that you call food noise. You know what I mean? I thought there was something wrong with me before like food noise even became like a TikTok term. That's what some people were calling it, but I mean, it actually is a thing. And I felt seen when more people were talking about it. We wouldn't even be talking about food noise. Yeah, we wouldn't be if we. And I'm going to go back to the Industrial Revolution. But if we didn't like industrialize the process of making food and like over highly processing all of our food and making it super hyper palatable, we wouldn't be in this dilemma that we're in today. There would be no obesity epidemic, right? And I guess it doesn't help too that like the country is so expansive. Most cities are not walkable. I don't live in a walkable city. I live in like a little walkable area where I can like walk to my Walmart and get food, but I can't walk to work. My husband can't walk to work. He's got to commute. So it's understandable that like people are fat, we're not moving as much, and we're eating a ton of food and a lot of sugar and carbohydrates. So this whole, if society wasn't obsessed with thinness and pathologized normal thoughts about food, we wouldn't even be talking about food noise. They This person is equating normal thoughts about food with food noise, and it's not the same. Like thinking about food because you're hungry, okay, but food noise is a completely different like demon, basically. It's a monkey on your back. If people fought for the rights of fat people the way they fight for the right to take GLP-1s for weight loss, we might actually see fat people as actual people. I don't know of anybody who's like really fighting for the right to take GLP-1s. Am I seeing something that they're not seeing, or are they seeing something that I'm not seeing? Okay, hear me out. Maybe we think about food so much because we are hungry. GLP-1s quiet that. I don't need a fucking therapist. I need my body chemistry regulated. Being hungry is not a beating recorder, Jeff. There is nothing wrong with being hungry. Hunger cues are normal. No, there is something wrong. There is something. Oh, sorry. No, they're partially correct. There's nothing wrong with being hungry, but there is something wrong with hunger cues that are nonstop. So like if you are not feeling satiated, if you are not and you're eating like normal sized meals and you're still like hungry, or you're still feeling hungry like an hour later, one, you're eating foods that are wrong for you, right? Maybe you're burning them too quickly, or maybe you're just eating foods that are designed to make you hungrier sooner so that you go and buy more of the food. For example, McDonald's, right? I think McDonald's is designed to make you eat it and then crave it nonstop all the time. You're like, damn, McDonald's, always room for McDonald's, always room for some chicken nuggets, right? So person on the top with the blue scratches, I agree. Some people's chemistry needs to be regulated, but I do feel like satiety is something that can be trained. These normal cues are happening at an abnormal rate. What's not clicking? I've been through therapy. I've been through hypnotherapy. I've even been sent to a psychiatrist as a fat child. I've been on every diet known to man, from Fen, Atkins, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers. The list goes on for 50 years. Nothing worked until the age of 56 when I went on a GLP-1. My life changed, and in 2.5 years, I've become the healthiest and happiest I've ever been in my life. It's physiological, not psychological. Good for her. I used to be on the train of like, I don't really like GLP-1s. I still have some of my, I guess like, I don't know if stigma the right word. I still have some reservations about GLP-1s. If I can't take it because of my thyroid, I wonder what it's doing to other people's thyroids, like people who have healthy thyroids. I wonder what it's doing. I also feel like weight loss is free. Like I get how some people can't wait as long as it takes to kind of, lose the weight naturally. Sometimes it's medically necessary to do whatever it takes to lose the weight. So I've said it before, this year is the year for do whatever it takes in a healthy way to get to a healthy body size. So I am okay with GLP-1 as a tool. I don't know if I'm okay with you being on it forever. I just feel like there's some things that we don't know about it yet. You know what I mean? And that's just me. I'm not a scientist. But hunger cues aren't normal when it takes 3 to 4 times as much food to feel satiated after a meal, when you're hungry again less than 2 hours later with every meal. That's what I've been saying. My body doesn't produce the hormones that signal satiety and hunger correctly. GLP-1s corrected that. Good for you. All right, everybody. So that was a long one, but what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below what you think. What are your thoughts about GLP-1s? Be honest. I know that a lot of you are on GLP-1s. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I just have my own reservations just because I am, I did it naturally. So I'm like, am I being mean about that? I don't know. I have reservations just because we only hear like, the horror stories, right? Those are the ones that really get the news coverage. But I mean, I think it's wonderful, and I think it's lovely that it is working for you. You know what I mean? And I say good job too. Clap for you. Clap for you for being healthy. We love that. If you made it this far into the video, please consider giving me a subscribe. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video. And if you made it to this very point in the video, leave me a lizard emoji, because your mommy is a lizard. Because I'm so cold-blooded. Just kidding. Goodbye. This is mommy's little boy. This is mommy's little boy. My little baby boy. My little baby boy. And this is mama's girl. And this is mommy's girl. Mommy's little boy. Mommy's little baby. Oh! My boy is here. My boy is here. My boy. You gotta see him. You gotta see him. Oh, Angelica, thank you so much for this collar.
Oh, Auntie Angelica gave me this collar. Auntie Angelica gave me this collar. Oh, he looks so handsome. My baby!
I love you.
Are you a good boy? Oh, mama's boy.
Mommy has allergies.
This is my little boy. This is mommy's little boy. My baby, he boy. My hi baby, he boy. My little baby boy.
Do you remember when we met? Last day I knew you were my pet. I wanna tell you that I love